have different sources of weather. We have reports and we have forecast. Reports are coded into METARs. Every 50 minutes, 50 to 55 minutes past the hour, they publish a METAR for many locations, okay? But generally speaking, it's by an airport. So they publish these, and so that's one of the things. The flight service uses these. Transportation industry uses it. Ground transportation industry uses it. Agriculture uses. Many different uses for this weather that's accumulated through these METAR, automated METAR system, weather observation systems. The METARs can be done by a person in a control tower. Air traffic controller can give out weather reports as well that are put into this system. But mostly these METARs are from those automated machines that are placed in airports all over the country. I mean, there's thousands. They're all this information is automatically sent to a central location and put together into these METAR reports every hour. Sometimes they'll be there's some stations that'll put it out twice an hour, but basically that's observations done automatically. You can check visibility, winds, of course, the obvious numbers, visibility, cloud cover. Has a machine that shoots a beam up to the cloud layer and bounces back, and it can tell pretty accurately where the cloud layers are and whether or not the clouds are overcast or broken or scattered, what kind of clouds. And then also can tell, some of them will have, well, all of them can tell whether it's raining or precipitation is falling, but some of them can actually tell the difference between rain and sleet and snow and hail. They can tell the difference between all the different kinds. That's a little trickier, but some of them can do that as well. I think they're all being converted to do that. So those are what we call METARs. They are published once per hour, 55 past the hour, in some locations twice an hour, but mostly not. Weather conditions are changed, though, they can publish what they call specials, and they just use SPECI before the report. It just means that things have changed so rapidly, we're going to put out another weather report because this is different and it's important. Those are weather reports. They're called METARs. We have forecasts then. Forecast, accumulate all these METAR reports and other reports from air traffic controllers, from the ship captains on the ocean, from the satellite observations, from many sources, weather buoys out in the ocean. Yeah, there's weather ships out still in the ocean that make weather reports, but mostly it's just regular ships going back and forth will transmit the weather information to help other mariners. Forecasts are put together by trained technicians that analyze all these different patterns, including global patterns, and they produce these charts or forecasts sometimes to different transportation users. Air traffic, obviously, but also ocean vessels, transportation workers, truck drivers, disaster planners, the people that remove the snow from roads need to know this stuff, so it's transmitted to many different people. So there's different kinds of forecast as well. There's an area forecast, which covers a fairly large area. It's an abbreviated language forecast, but it covers for a larger area of meteorological information. So they take conditions from different airports and put it together to get sort of a picture of what they believe what will happen. It was published for 12 hours and 24 hours and 36 hours and 48 hours in the future. Further away it gets, of course, it gets less accurate. That's just the way it is. Then there's a terminal area forecast. Now this is a specific forecast for a 5-mile diameter from a controlled tower. It's terminal, TAF, terminal aerodrome forecast is called a TAF. TAF, or a TAF, is a concise statement of what they expect the weather to be, especially the weather that will be significant for that period of time. You can get that through Flight Service, but you can also get it through the National Weather Service or Aviation Digital Data Service. Those different ways. And again, there's apps on your phone that have already accumulated that information and present it to you clearly. And there's different kinds of TAFs. There's an amended MAMD TAF that'll come out if the weather's rapidly changing, or there's a corrected forecast we call a TAF COR. TAF core would be a corrected one. Whoops, I screwed up. That's not what is going to happen. All right. So there's different kinds of forecast. Again, the way to get the easiest access to these is, of course, making a phone call as well, but there is something about pictures as far as forecast is concerned. So that's one of those things which I would prefer to go to the 1-800-WXBrief.com and go to the website and do the search for a forecast. And that pops right up there, gives you a little more information, gives you a little more time to look at it. Whereas somebody on the phone, you know, talking to you on the phone, it can get by so fast, so much information so fast, especially for people that are fairly inexperienced or new at the industry. The information just comes so fast and hot and heavy that it's easy to miss some of the stuff. You can't write fast enough. I mean, they'll repeat it. You've got to be, there's no hurry. You're not getting charged for the phone call, but still, I don't know, something about just having it, even it having available to just peruse slowly. So we have the Flight Service, then we have Aviation Weather Center. It's administered by the FAA. That's another source of much weather, and we've done that in class. We've looked at that as well. They have all the charts and all the information there. So there's more than one source of information. It's competing agencies, I suppose. The forte for Flight Service is personalized interpretations of the weather by a trained technician. Aviation Weather Center, that's where you go in there and you go, okay, I know enough about it. I think pretty confident that I can find out all the information I need to know, and I'm going to be the ones that have to interpret the information. I can't depend on someone else to tell me that. But I think that's a good skill to have. I think everybody should practice that, and I'll give you the URL for that too.